Episode number 780, Launch Love Worldwide.
You're listening to the official BNI podcast with BNI founder and Chief Visionary Officer, Dr. Ivan Misner. Stay tuned for networking and referral marketing tips from the man who's been called the father of modern networking, along with suggestions and insights into getting the most from your membership in the world's largest networking organization, BNI.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the official BNI podcast. I'm Priscilla Rice, and I'm coming to you from Live Oak Recording Studio in Berkeley, California, and I'm joined on the phone today by the founder and the Chief Visionary Officer of BNI, Dr. Ivan Misner. Hello, Ivan. How are you, and where are you?
Well, I'm actually in Austin this week, but I'm kind of excited because it's been 16 or 17 years since I've taught at university. And when it rains, it pours. I've been asked to teach a course on leadership in the MBA program at two universities that start this week, Concordia University in Austin and the University of La Verne in Southern California, which I'll be doing on. So I'm really excited to be teaching again.
Oh, that's great.
Somebody told me, Ivan, you've always taught, but to be teaching at a university again, it's really good.
Right. That's so cool. So who do you have with us today?
I have a great young man, Sam Spuler. Sam is going to talk about a launch program in BNI called Launch Love Worldwide. Sam Spuler is the director of global marketing at BNI Global. He was supported growth-oriented activities around the organization for the past 3 years. Most notably, the product manager of the BNI Online program through 2020 and 2021, which was obviously critical to the organization. Now Sam is leading the global marketing team into 2023 and beyond, and he's here today to discuss Launch Love Worldwide, a global campaign designed to support directors and members around the world to achieve chapter launch goals in the organization. You know, if you're a BNI member, you might be wondering, why should we support launching chapters? But the truth is, I have found that when there are a number of chapters throughout a community, it is easier to bring in members because there is a name recognition and a brand recognition that exists. It's actually way harder. And Sam, you may not know this. It's harder to open up a BNI chapter in a community where nobody's ever heard of BNI than it is to open up in a community where BNI has a presence or has a nearby presence. And so talking about launching chapters is, I think, an important topic for all chapters of BNI. So welcome to the BNI podcast, Sam.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Really excited to be here. I get a lot of energy listening to your podcasts and learning from you. It makes perfect sense that you are restarting your pursuit as a professor. I always am learning from you, always learning from your podcast, and I am just thrilled to be here to offer a little bit of information myself. So thank you for having me.
Thanks. And I'm excited to be teaching the leadership class, and maybe I'll pull in a few things into the podcast from what I'm teaching with leadership.
Would love that.
So although this campaign is scheduled for a set period of time and it's about launching, the concept, I think, is evergreen. Everyone listening to this can apply it years from now. So with that said, why this campaign, Sam? Why are you implementing this in BNI?
Yeah, absolutely. The team has been working and doing a lot of research on names and themes for a Q4 2022 campaign. Specifically, we wanted to inspire and motivate our directors and members around the world to launch chapters, because launching chapters at BNI is such a special thing. And our team feels that we, in a way, overlook it sometimes, and what possibilities it can create in communities and for small business owners and their families. So Launch Love Worldwide is a campaign and really a mindset that celebrates human connection and the opportunities that these BNI chapter launches, these just astounding events that happen all over the world. It's a celebration and a recognition for what what these launches can create. So we're really excited to provide some some tools and resources in the forms of training and digital assets and other ways for directors to get their core groups off the ground, to start new core groups, and to get members involved as well, getting excited of really understanding what that possibility is and what it really means to be a part of a BNI chapter, particularly a new BNI chapter.
So, talk a little bit about the importance of launching chapters. And you mentioned something earlier about igniting communities to me as we were talking. Talk to me
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah, yeah, and so I was just looking at some stats. So just again, I referenced that these chapter launches happen all over the world. We have had in the BNI system 54 countries so far here in 2022 at the date of this recording who have launched at least one chapter. And so that is just really astounding to think about the impact and the footprint that BNI has around the world. And in these 54 countries, that totals up to over 650 total chapter launches in just this year alone. Again, at the time of this podcast airs, those numbers will be higher than the ones I just cited. But that alone is just so inspirational to me and to a lot of others on the global support team. We get a lot of energy thinking about that, and really, and you can speak to this as well, Ivan. But the when a chapter launches, chapters nearby within the same region flourish and thrive as well. And we know that, again, from a mindset standpoint, it's an abundance mentality. The more chapters that launch, the more, not just in that very chapter that benefit, but members of other chapters in the area can benefit as well, because the network deepens and strengthens.
Well, you're so right. You said it with abundance versus a scarcity mentality. I have seen it over and over and over again when there are a number of chapters in an area that support each other, and that's the key. They've got to be there to help one another and support each other. They do better by working together, because if there's an opening in one chapter, they refer them to the other chapter. Let me tell you a story, Sam. I bet you've never heard this story. It's an absolutely true story. Someone called me once and said, "And what do you think about two chapters meeting in the same venue on the same day?" And I said, "No, I think that's a bad idea." And they said, "No, it's a great idea." And I said, how could that possibly be a great idea? This two chapters meeting in the same location on the same day. They said it works incredible. And I sat there and I listened to this story about how people would come in, they'd walk down this hall, and on the left would be one chapter, on the right would be another chapter, two different visitor hosts. One of them would ask, "Who invited you today?" And they would say who invited it, and then they would refer them into that chapter. So they would go into that room. Now, as they start to go into that room, they'd find out if that profession is already represented. And if that profession was already represented in the chapter on the left, they would walk them across the hall. And I went there and I personally saw this, where they would literally walk them across the hall to the other chapter. And they would go to the other chapter, meet with the other chapter, and join that other chapter, because the first chapter, that profession was already taken. And to me, this was the best example of an abundance mentality versus a scarcity mentality. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that chapters meet in the same location at the same time, but wow, that just blows me away as to the support that two chapters can give one another and what a difference it makes. And so when you see a chapter launching in your area, help them, because if you help them, they'll help you. What do you think of that?
I love that. That's I hadn't heard that story before. On one hand, I think it's similar to you. I'm sure. I think that's crazy, but hearing the outcome, it makes perfect sense. And so that is just a testament to givers gain. And that's really I started this off with it's a mindset thing, and we want to really celebrate that human connection,
Yeah.
but also just inspire others to realize what's possible. And I've always been a big believer that all limits are self-imposed, and
Yes.
this campaign is just one step that we are, taking as a global support team to, realize the potential and the opportunity. So I know we're coming up on time here, Ivan, but I want to just pass it over to you really, really quickly. What are, a couple of your, maybe key observations about, maybe some of your favorite launch related stories similar to the one that you just shared, that, members and directors can benefit from as we're wrapping up here?
Well, in addition to the story that I told, I have seen many chapters who have a chapter nearby, and they volunteer to be sort of their sister chapter and help them launch their group. And then what happens is those two chapters then work together to refer people back and forth. So if one person shows up to the chapter, they can't join because of a conflict in classification, they refer them to the other chapter, and the other chapter does the same for them. And so by working together, you end up growing together. And this is a great example of abundance versus a scarcity mentality. And the truth is, you can't change the way the world does business unless you impact the world in a greater way. We have hundreds of thousands of members. We need millions of members to really, really change the way the world does business. In the past 12 months from this recording, we generated 19 billion US dollars in thank you for closed business. That is amazing to me. I think we can be doing 100 billion. But in order to do that, we need to bring more people into the program to increase the amount of thank you for closed business that is generated in the organization. With that said, Sam, we're almost out of time. Any last comment before I give a website out for everybody?
Yeah, just really, one, this has been a lot of fun. Two, I know the word of the thematic word of my team has just been fun. We are really trying to have fun with this campaign, promote fun around the organization, because growing is fun. And launching is fun. It's a really special thing. So thank you very much for giving me this platform to discuss with you. And hopefully this is a fun endeavor for all of those listening as well.
Hopefully. And I have said for years, Sam, you may not have heard it, keep the fun in the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
It's really important. All right, there is a website. This website may not be available for years and years, but it's available now. It's growthwithbni.com/launch-love-worldwide. We will put it in the transcript here. Sam, thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for everything you do for BNI.
Really enjoyed it. Thanks, Ivan.
Over to you, Priscilla.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys both for the great information. This podcast is sponsored by MeisnerAudioPrograms.com. These audio programs will provide you with the tools and the inspiration to powerfully enhance your BNI experience. So check out the great material available to you at MeisnerAudioPrograms.com, and then use the promo code IVAN50 for 50% off of everything. All of the proceeds go to the BNI Foundation. Thank you so much for listening. This is Priscilla Rice, and we look forward to having you join us again next week for another exciting episode of the official BNI podcast.